Okay, so what we hide. This is the new film from Dan Kay, right? He wrote and directed it. It is produced by Dan Kay. Who else do we have? Tony Stopperan, Dan Simmer, Joseph Ristano, Yaniv Hoffman, Jeff Hoffman, executive produced by David Amis, Mckenna Grace, Russell Gray, Leo Naim, Corey Shadder, and Jessie Williams. It is co-executive produced by Lee Pitisky, Randall Narrick, Caesar Montagna, Omar Medina, Andrew Head, Steve Demler, Gary Cunningham, Andrew Cohen, R. Douglas Bradbury. It is associate produced by Stephen Maddox, Josh Knopfs, and it is co-produced by Dominic Medina, Melissa McNerney, and Sean Greenspan. Okie dokie. Right, so taking care of the score is Alexis Grapas. Pip White is on cinematography. JC Bond edits the piece. Casting was handled by Jessica Kelly. Ariel Nesgoen is production design. Art direction is Sean Carroll. Set decoration, we have Rustin Head and Ross Ostrom. Right, Elizabeth Borges is costume design. Hair and makeup, we have Jennifer Kaiser, Sophia Lazaro, Monique McLaughlin, and Cynthia Cervantes Short. Okie dokie, so that's all that. We've got Andrea Misselli, Hannah Grace McDermott, Sean Lyle, Christopher E. Hadley, Brett Belcher, and Ali Beckman on stunts, right? Which then takes us to our cast, right? So we have got Spider, played by Mckenna Grace. Her sister Jessie is played by Jojo Regina. We have got Spider's best friend Alexis, played by Malia Baker. We have got Jessie's best friend Maddie, played by Lily Jane. There is Sheriff Ben Jeffries, played by Jesse Williams. Right, his wife is Paula, I believe, played by Tamara Austin. We have got Jen, played by Fernanda Andrade. There's Cody, right, played by Forrest Goodluck. Reese, played by Dacre Montgomery. Taylor, played by Preston Kamika. Oh, yeah, he's Alexis's brother, right? Yeah, sheriff's son, as it were. The prawn shop owner is played by Don Lamkin. Dennis, played by Brad Beyer. The school monitor, played by Vivian Fleming Alvarez. Dum, dum, dum. Oh, the woman at the motel, played by Davina Reed. Oh yeah, and Dennis is the passport, the ID dude. All right. Okay. I think that is our main lot of people, essentially. Okay, so the gist of the story is after their mother's fatal overdose, sisters Spider and Jessie hide her body to avoid being separated by the strained foster care system. But with the local sheriff asking questions and their mum's drug dealer lurking, their future becomes uncertain. How far will they go to keep their secret? So that is the gist of the film. We do have a director's statement, which is always, it's always a helpful thing to get that insight, right? So it reads, I've been interested in telling a story about the opioid epidemic for years because my family, like millions of American families, has been directly impacted. We've experienced how the we've experienced how the insidious disease of addiction not only destroys the life of the addict, but tears apart the fabric and foundation of the addict's family. It's this damage, the collateral damage caused by addiction, that compels me. Most of the books, articles, movies, and TV shows on this topic focus on the addict. But what about the heartbreak and chaos that's left in the addict's way? One heartbreaking facet of the epidemic that has been underreported until this film, never dramatized, is the growing number of opioid orphans, children whose parents have either died or lost custody because of their addiction. In certain states like Ohio, Kentucky, West Virginia, and Pennsylvania, the number of orphans has overwhelmed the foster care system, and as a result, siblings are often separated, sometimes for weeks, sometimes for months, and sometimes for years. Along with Julia Keller, a Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist, from her days at the Chicago Oh my gosh, people. At the days at the Chicago Tribune, I traveled to West Virginia and Ohio, interviewing law enforcement, CPS workers, educators, and families directly impacted by the crisis. I met boys and girls who had lost both their parents and were living with their relatives and foster parents. Two sisters I met told me that when they discovered their mother dead from an overdose, they considered burying her in the backyard. The reason: they had friends who were separated from their siblings when they went into the system, and they did not under any circumstances wanted to be apart. Those two sisters, their story, and the stories relayed to us by those on the front lines of the epidemic, inspired this movie. This is a timely story and one that needs to be told. Right? So, yeah, that's it, right? And I think Dan's right. Because a lot of times we see these stories, and there have been stories that have dealt with the repercussions of addiction, and we've seen some of the impact on like the husband or the wife and that kind of thing. But yeah, for the life of me, I cannot think of anything that really focused like this on the children. And you have the children where there's no parents left now, right? And I think that really, that's the thing that hits you with this story. It's just like the impact on these kids and, dealing with predatory people after the fact, right? Like the situation at the pawn shop. Now, obviously, wait, I will say, right? I will say this. I'm sure there are some nice pawn shop proprietors. I'm sure there must be. But it's not necessarily something people probably go into looking to be charitable, right? And obviously, it's one of those things, a bit like sales, right? You're looking for the opportunity. And the opportunity is on people that will not challenge what you tell them, right? So if you undercut them on a price, if you see that someone is desperate, you can undercut them. And we see that here. And it is just, right? It hits you, man. It's cutting, right? But that's the impact of the story, that we see these things, which is, yeah, I think it's handled well. I think Dan did a good job of bringing all of this together, right? I think we definitely do believe in the relationship between our siblings. I think Jojo and Mckenna, have created that bond that you buy into. Yeah, I think it's tough at times, right? Because you think Jojo is the younger sister, she's the younger actress, and she does do a good job. There are sometimes some of the lines do come across a little bit too, produced. Like, no way. You know what I mean? Like, it does come across as a little bit too, but for the most part, I think she does, really embody Jessie. And you do buy everything, which is good. I did think, Dacre Montgomery, what a piece of shit, right? Oh my God, he really does a fantastic job with Reese. Like, that is, he's a predator, he's a menace, he's a nasty piece of work. And Montgomery really sells us on that, right? Just you just cringe in all of his interactions, and it just makes you feel sick, right? And that's a big skill, because I don't think anyone really wants to be in the mind of that person, right? And especially the things that we see, right? So I think, yeah, Montgomery really does a fantastic job of that. It's interesting, I think, as we see this play out, right? Like, at the beginning, it's a bit like, let's go buy sweets, and then you see like that bit more of an understanding of, we gotta make money last, and we gotta do, right? So it's looking into all the things. There are, there's a couple of things which, like, I kind of feel that shed's gonna be a little pungent right? There's gonna be a smell, and there's gonna be mad flies around it. So I think anyone that gets close to it, you might not, if you've never smelt a dead body before, right? You might not know what that is, but I feel you would go, what is that smell? Something isn't right there. You know what I mean? So I there were, a couple of incidents where you do kind of feel, like I think more is, yeah, more would happen in these incidents, right? Especially like if a girl turns up at a hospital with no shoes on, you know, there's there there's no way like you are convinced that she's 18. So it's kind of like, yeah, again, a little bit more in those incidences. But I think when you break down what this film is doing, I think it does do the job. I think it does, have you like fixed in to see how these sisters can navigate this situation, right? Where's it gonna go? How's it all gonna play out? Yeah, and I think it does, shine the light on this whole situation, because it is all because they do not want to be separated. They want to be together. I think there is a moment at the end where it kind of seems like the reality of everything hits Spider, and maybe also the understanding that her mum did love her. You know what I mean? I think that I don't know. I might be wrong, but that's the kind of feeling I got from that last shot. But, as I say, it could be many things. But yeah, no, I think the film is very touching, right? It's sad. And I think it needs to be. Right? It can't be this happy, shiny film. This has to have that darkness, right? It's gotta have that, feeling of foreboding, because this isn't good. At any moment, this secret could come out, right? They're living in a place full of predators. This is an affluent city, right? Her mum, isn't rich. She's a drug addict. So she's been hanging around with, not great people. And I think all of that is reflected. So yeah, I think Dan's done, a really interesting job here, right? Definitely done an interesting job. I think the film is now available on all your favorite VODs. So yeah, if you are interested, I mean, it's been a minute since Dan did a film, right? I think it's been like at least 10 years, So, I think he's done a very good job. I think if the complexities of opioid addiction and all of that, if that is interesting to you and you like those human nature stories, then yeah, people, I definitely recommend you checking out What We Hide. Yeah, which, is available on all your favorite VOD. So yeah, What We Hide.